You can't talk about dangerous crew environments without talking about Apocalypse Now. Filming the Oscar-winning movie was a notorious shit show, as documented in Hearts of Darkness, A Filmmaker's Apocalypse, a documentary shot by Coppola's wife and eventually released in 1991. It chronicled the making of Coppola's epic Vietnam movie and his descent into madness, much like his fictional character, Colonel Kurtz. Filming began in Luzon, Philippines in March of 1976. The Philippines were selected because of its resemblance to Vietnam. Both have lush jungles and tropical beaches. Almost as soon as they started filming, dysentery spread through the crew. Originally, Harvey Keitel was tapped to play Willard, the lead, but after a few days, Coppola became unhappy with Keitel's take on the character and flew back to LA and recast Martin Sheen in the role. Then, 2 months into the production, they were hit by a massive storm, Typhoon Olga, which destroyed up to 80% of the sets. Trees were bent at 45-degree angles, and crew members were stranded in their hotels. Most of the crew eventually returned to LA for 8 weeks while locations and scenic departments worked to rebuild. In July, production resumed, and Marlon Brando arrived on set heavier than anyone had anticipated and had difficulty remembering his lines. Martin Sheen had a near-fatal heart attack and struggled for a quarter of a mile to reach help. He had to be airlifted to a hospital in Manila. Sheen worried that funding for the film would be halted if word of his condition got out, so he lied and said he had heat stroke. His brother, Joe Estevez, filled in for him so Coppola could continue shooting over-the-shoulder shots and shots of what was supposed to be Sheen's back. Then there were the helicopters. The helicopters they used were on loan from the Philippine government. The production had to paint them to pass as U.S. helicopters, but they were still in operational use and would get called back for actual military missions, sometimes in mid-take. The production was constantly painting and repainting the choppers. The beach scene was a nightmare to film. Timing the explosions so the flyovers became a logistical shit show. Planes would appear late, pyrotechnics would go off early. At one point, Coppola had 5 cameras running, and none of them caught the intended action. Rumors swirled that Apocalypse Now had as many as 5 different endings. Coppola kept changing the script because Brando was too fat to play the scenes as they were originally written. Apocalypse Now wrapped production on what should have been a 4-month shoot after 238 days and cost more than double the original $14 million budget, causing Coppola to experience a breakdown of his own. Coppola famously said, "We weren't making a movie, we were making war."
Don't you think it's a little risky for R&R? If I say it's safe to surf this beach, Captain, it's safe to surf this beach!